Am I the a-hole for not splitting money left to me between my siblings? My dad died when I, 16 male, was a baby. My mom remarried when I was 4 or maybe 5. I don't really remember a time my stepdad wasn't around, though that's not a very good thing. He's a crappy stepdad and a crappy dad to my siblings. Stepsister who is 15, brothers who are 10 and 7, and sister who is 9. My mom stays with him though, and just lets him not involved or even nice to his own kids, because she doesn't want to be alone. My dad's family has been in my life always, and I'm very close to them all. My dad's only sister and I were extra close though. She adored me and always told me I was just like my dad, and he was the best man she knew. She said she would be so proud of me. She died a few months ago and left the bulk of everything to me. And she had a lot of assets. My mom and stepdad were annoyed when they heard because she left my cousins all something, even though not as much as me. Yet nothing for my stepsister or siblings who also considers her their aunt. Dad's family has included them in some stuff to be nice, but they're not considered grandkids or anything like that. My mom told me what I got should be split equally between us all. I said I shouldn't, because my aunt wanted stuff left to me. She told me that if I asked my grandparents to give me access to the money now, that they would, and that we could all benefit from it. I told her they would do that, but I'm not going to ask. Stepdad then told me my siblings will now realize we, as in me and my paternal family, hate them. I don't want them, and they will see what a horrible brother I am, and what a good sister his daughter is, even though she actually hates our siblings and has never had a good relationship with them. Mom told me I was hogging more than I would ever need and not thinking of their futures. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Your mom and stepdad want access to that money and are using your siblings to get it. Tell your grandparents what you just wrote here, and don't even try to get that money before you are 18, and leave the house for your own sake. My grandparents already know what is going on, and only they can access the money since my aunt set it up that way. If I wanted to access it, then I'd need to go through them, so the money's safe. I'll probably live with my grandparents for a bit and figure out my future when I graduate, and then can access the money and figure stuff out. This is a very smart, mature decision. Not the a-hole. Your stepfather's children have their own paternal family to care for them, as well as your mother's family. In other words, they have 2 sets of family just as you do. Whether or not those people have assets to share is not your problem. Your aunt left assets to you specifically, and her bloodline. You do not owe this money to anyone, not even your siblings. They are not your responsibility. Your mother and stepfather are a-holes for attempting to manipulate you, a child, out of your assets. Should you, at a later date, choose to gift your siblings something, that is up to you, but you should wait until you're a legal adult to decide. This is near and dear to my heart because I lost my husband when I was pregnant. I am not remarried and my son is 6, but should anyone in my late husband's family leave him anything, it would be his. I am so sorry your family's acting this way and pressuring you. This is not okay. I would maybe speak confidentially with your grandparents about the situation and see if they can put this in a trust for you. Let them know that you feel that your mother and stepfather would mismanage these assets and ensure an adult is in charge in case they pass away. They already know, but the money is safe, so there is nothing else to be done. Do you have a will? Although it's unlikely it will be needed at your age, it could happen. Without a will, the money would go to your closest relative, your mom and or your half-siblings, depending on the laws in your state. Is that what you would want to happen to the money? Next story. Am I the a-hole for showing favoritism towards my grandkids? My son married his high school girlfriend when he was 19. I told him I don't approve of his choice for 2 reasons. 1, he's too young. 2, we never liked his girlfriend, so I will never help him with anything. They have 2 kids, Jonah, male 17, and Laura, female 16. When Laura was born, my son begged me for help because they couldn't afford childcare for 2 kids, even though they both work full-time, and none of them can become a stay-at-home parent because they need the money. Even though I told him I won't help, I decided to help anyway because of my grandkids, and hired a nanny for them. The problem is that, whenever we were at their home, I noticed that his wife only takes care of Jonah and leaves Laura completely to the nanny. I never saw her play with Laura or anything, while she was always holding Jonah and playing with him. Once, I told her it won't kill her to touch her daughter sometimes, which caused a huge fight between us, and I fired a nanny, and told them the only help I will give is that I will babysit Laura for them and pay for everything she needs, but I won't help with anything else. My wife and I took care of Laura more than her own parents did. Now, my sweet daughter turned 16 a few months ago. I bought a car for her as she earned some of the money by helping me with my job, and I paid for the rest. Jonah is turning 18 in a few months, and my son asked me to help buy a car for him. I told him I'm sorry, but I won't do that, because I made it clear that I will only help with Laura's expenses. He accused me of showing favoritism, and called me an a-hole and being a terrible grandfather for giving one child a luxurious life, but not doing anything for the other one. I told him I'm doing this because he and his wife are terrible parents to Laura, so someone needs to favor her. Now for the top comments. Everyone sucks here. You thought it was wrong that your daughter-in-law showed favoritism, so you responded by showing favoritism? Are you familiar with the phrase, two wrongs don't make a right? I'm going to have to disagree. Daughter-in-law was actively neglecting Laura, and therefore mistreating her. Opie not giving Jonah things is not neglect nor abuse. It's clear Opie took a parental role for Laura, so comparing his treatment to a grandchild isn't a valid comparison. Not the a-hole. Jonah, why did you buy my sister a car but won't buy me one? Opie, because you have a terrible mother. Yeah, good luck with that conversation. Andy refers to Laura as his daughter. Because Laura is basically living with me and my wife, and her parents don't care. And because she has been going to therapy for years to deal with rejection from her parents, and has some mental health issues due to this. While Jonah is doing very well, and is being raised by parents who love and care about him and provide him with an okay life. Trust me when I tell you, he understands this a lot better than his parents, and he wouldn't swap his life with Laura. You literally stole Laura from her parents and made it where they couldn't have a relationship because you were whispering in everyone's ears about how your daughter-in-law is a terrible mother. You manipulated Laura against her parents and wonder why they only have a relationship with Jonah. You're the a-hole. I babysat her when they were at work. After that, they were responsible for her. I didn't steal anyone. I started babysitting her when she was 4 and sent her back to her parents every day after they came back from work. By 11, she was almost living with us full-time because she didn't want to go home. Next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to rearrange my work schedule to take my nephew to school? So I, 28 female, don't have kids nor want them frankly. I have a job that I like, work a shift that I like. I'm early mornings, 5 a.m/6 a.m. to 1/2 p.m. It took me a while to adjust to it, but now that I have a whole routine. I have a sister M31 female and she has a 7-year-old son Timmy. I've never been that aunt that borrows my nephew for the day to go do whatever. I mean, if he's around, I'll talk to him and play with him, and I buy him gifts for special occasions. I have friends that'll take their nieces/nephews a few times a month and go to movies, different events, take them shopping and spoil them. That's never been me. Well, Em called me Sunday and asked if I could take Timmy to school in the mornings for a while. I said, what? No, I work early in the morning. She said, but didn't you say you could go to second shift if you wanted to? I can, but I don't want to. Apparently, Timmy's dad, Ryan, has to work third shift for a while, and Em doesn't want him driving Timmy to school after working because he'll be tired. Our parents can't because they also work. Ryan used to work second shift and would take him to school, then Em would pick him up. Em works 6 to 2, but has a 30 to 45 minute commute. She wants me to go to second shift and she'll drop him off by me. Or I can come by them in the morning, give him breakfast, get him ready and take him to school. I asked for how long. She said she didn't know, but Ryan was going to try to move back to second when they have an opening. So it could be a month, could be a year. I'm not going to switch to second and have Ryan go back to second in a month, and then I'm stuck on a shift I hate. I can't just bounce back and forth either. I get an hour lunch break. It's usually at 9 or 10, but I'm sure if I explained the situation, my boss would allow me to take it at 7:30. Then I could take Timmy to school and come back. I offered this to Em and she rejected it. Said that she's not leaving her 7-year-old home alone for 2 hours. I said, but Ryan will be there. She claims since he might be asleep, Timmy would be on his own and she doesn't want that. I said, well, that's all I can offer you. I'm not changing shifts. This is part of why I don't have kids, to avoid incidents like this. Which he's 7, not 2, but whatever. Em went running to our mom, And my mom says I should be more willing to help my sister and it'll give me the opportunity to spend time with Timmy. Family sacrifices for each other, and I might have to find a different job because I'm being stubborn. Am I the a-hole for refusing to switch shifts? Wow, your sister sounds incredibly entitled. OP, don't cave to her demands. Stand your ground. 100% not the a-hole. She does. I would tell the sister that it will go into effect in late May, like the 26th or something, but you can put in for the shift change. How about Timmy start taking the school bus? My kids all do. If her husband is home and tired from driving, he can walk to the bus stop instead. Not the a-hole. You gave them a great alternative. Hubby can stay awake for 2 hours. It's their responsibility to make things work with their schedule. She asked and you said no. Now, hubby will need to get up with his kid or she will need to change jobs. Not your problem. Right. When I worked third, like 8 or 9 years ago, I'd get off at 6 or 7 a.m. and half the time I didn't go to bed till 7 or 8 anyway. So she makes no sense. That was my thinking. I don't know anyone who immediately goes to sleep after work. If he's too tired maybe to drive, he can stay awake later to put the kid on a bus in the morning. Do you have school buses? I don't want to assume US. Not the a-hole. Their kid, their problem. You provided an alternative. Your sister didn't take it. It's a private school. They don't have buses, but they have carpool groups. I only know that because a friend of mine's kid is in K4 there. Hell no. You were not the a-hole. That is an utterly ridiculous request your sister is making of you. She wants you to change your whole life, just so her ex doesn't have to drive her kid to school when he is tired? Excuse me, but what the heck? I drove my kids to school for 16 years, and I was frigging exhausted all the time. That's so entitled I can't even believe she would ask that of you. And if mom thinks others should be supportive, then she can change her work schedule and drive the kid to school. Nope, nope, nopity nope. Don't do it. He's not her ex. He's her boyfriend. They've been together a long time, but they're not married. That's why I didn't really call him anything. He's more than a boyfriend, but not a husband. But yeah, it sounds like her, with a problem with him driving Timmy, not Ryan. Last story. Am I the a-hole and am I entitled for telling my mother I want to spend my money on myself after she bought video game consoles for my brothers with my earnings? Hi, a classmate told me to post in here. He insists that I am not the a-hole, but I'm still not sure. I'm 17 and I've done some part-time jobs since I was 16. I have 2 younger half-brothers who are my mom's and stepdad's kids. Ever since they were born, my mom asked me to help to take care of them since I'm the oldest. She always mentions that it is my responsibility. Since I started working, mom asks for 90% of the money I earn to help for house expenses that includes buying whatever my brothers need. But as a result, I barely have any money for myself. Sometimes I spend it all in transportation alone. There was a time when she told me that I'm entitled. That before getting remarried, she spoiled me, and that was a way to teach me how the real world works. For my 5-year-old brother's birthday in May, she bought him a Nintendo Switch. That seemed weird, since they were always complaining about having little money, but I said nothing. Then last week, my 8-year-old brother's birthday, and also got a Switch. I said nothing during the day, but after the party, I asked my mom if she bought the consoles with the money I gave her, and she answered yes. I said that money was supposed to go to house expenses, not consoles. My mom said that I also have to take care of my little brothers, and it wouldn't hurt gifting them something they will be happy with. Gotta admit, I got a little mad because I can't afford anything for myself. For example, my phone is an old iPhone 6 that no longer gets updates, and rely on the computer my school gave me for studying. I told her that my brothers already have phones, tablets, and a PlayStation. If she was gonna use the money on another console, I would rather use it on myself and things that I needed. She called me entitled, and that it's easy for me to say it since I'm not an adult with children. That all I have to do is study and work. And as long as I live under her roof, I have to contribute financially. Using money that could go for little brothers on stupid things was being selfish, and that I don't appreciate how much they as parents do for the 3 of us. Also told me that I'll have to pay rent starting at my 18th birthday, like a real adult. I'm still in contact with my dad, but he told me that my mom's expectations for me are normal, and that yes, it's my responsibility as the older brother to help the youngsters. I have told this to my classmates, but he says my mom is crazy, and I should have money for myself. I'm not sure about anything, that's why I'm asking here if I'm being entitled or if my mom is wrong. Gonna make clear that both mom and stepdad have full-time jobs. Edit, gotta say that 90% was a rough estimate. I did some math, and the exact amount I give her based on my current salary is 84.5%. I have so much to think about. My definition of a normal family seems to be completely wrong, and I don't know what to do. I never questioned if my mom is a bad parent before. Thanks for all the comments. Also, I don't have a bank account. My current boss is friends with my stepdad. Mom will always find me jobs when I'm jobless. And can't live with my dad because he has a new wife and won't let me live there full time. I'm so sorry this is happening to you. Not only is she exhibiting clear preferential treatment for your siblings, but she's also essentially casting you out. 100% not the a-hole. You need to have a talk about it with your dad with more details. Tell him that your brothers got $400 consoles each with your earnings, while you use an iPhone 6. See how he reacts when he hears what your birthday gifts have been versus theirs. Also, try talking to your mom. I don't want you to have to resort to lying, but imagine if you didn't work part-time anymore. You're doing that voluntarily. She can't expect it from you. Try telling her you're saving up for rent you'll have to pay her and you can't afford to give her 90%. Honestly, if I were you, I'd just ask to live with my dad full-time and set up a bank account where only you have access to and get a direct deposit from your work there. I suspect her rent price won't be reasonable either, so plan to move out from her home at 18. She's treating you like you're not family. That's truly so messed up, and I hope you get out of this okay. My parents divorced because my dad cheated. His current wife is not the woman he cheated with, but won't let me live with him full-time. If I quit my job or get fired, she will find another job for me. Has been good since I haven't been jobless for more than a few days. But that also means I won't have an excuse for not having money to pay her. Not stay whole. And if, when you turn 18 and your mom really makes you pay the rent, my advice is to look for a shared house/room elsewhere. I'm under the impression that your mother is preventing you from putting away savings for yourself, thus forcing you to stay at home and using you as an ATM.